Okay, so again, if I ask for the distance between G and H, what am I asking for? How far something is. So we would take G to H. So you can do two things. You can just count like I did a second ago, or the definition of distance is the absolute value of the difference of coordinates. You could subtract. Do you see how this one is at 4?
Yes.
Do you see how this one is at 1?
Yes.
What is 4 minus 1?
3.
So you could also do this mathematically instead of counting. Like, what if I didn't give you the ruler to count and I just told you where they were? All right, so please fill that out. Distance is always positive. Distance is always positive. So it's the absolute value of the difference of the coordinates, and it's always positive. All right. So my next question is going to be, what is the distance from A to B? There are two ways we could do this. What is one way we could do this? We could subtract. What would we subtract here? We would do, what is -5 minus 2? And by the way, absolute values means that you just can't get a negative answer. So what is -5 minus 2? Let me get my Desmos out.
7.
-5 minus 2 is, but can I get a negative answer?
No.
So although it's -7, my answer is going to be +7. That is your answer. Is that the only way you could have done this? What else could you have done? You can just jump and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whichever way you prefer to do this. Okay? By the way, do you see how this doesn't have a line above it or anything?
No.
That means I want the distance. So if there is no line and there's an equal sign, it's asking for the distance. All right, on your paper, I'm going to give you one song. I want you to answer number 1 through 4. You are answering 1 through 4. Go. Okay, we started that a little late, so I'm going to start going over this. What is the difference between A and D?
11.
11. How did you do that?
Counting.
Counting. Was it easier to count or subtract for y'all? What do y'all prefer?
Counting.
Counting's way easier, right? So in my opinion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it was 11 units. If you wanted to subtract, you have 10 and -1. What is -1 minus 10? It's the -11, but can we have a negative answer? No, so we're going to get +11. Now, I do want to tell you, it does not matter which way you go. What if you were to do 10 minus -1? What is a negative and a negative?
Positive.
Well, it's 10 plus 1. So it doesn't matter if you are subtracting, it does not matter which one goes first. You're going to get the right answer either way. All right, what's the difference between B and E?
10.
8, 9, 10. I got 10 as well. Did everybody get 10? All right, next. Which point is a distance of 5 units from A? So we're looking at A, and we need to go 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you get F?
Yes.
Is that my only answer?
No, it's C too.
Because I can go either direction 5 units. Did it tell us what direction to go?
No.
No, so now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So F or C are your answers. Last but not least, it says which point is a distance 8 units from D. Now, can I go right from D? Like you could, but is there any letters on this problem? Right? No. So let's go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E is my answer. Perfect. Do I have any questions about how we got those answers?
Nope.
Am I going to make this a test question on your test? Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
It's measuring distance. That's what we just did. You will have a test question that looks like that. Be careful and make sure you count accurately. All right. Next question. Let me make sure I don't have anything on the flip chart. Nope. Next question. I have a bunch of characters. My daughter is very much into Disney.
Why Elsa though? It's giving me nightmares from last
Oh,
time.
because we love.
Why?
Does everybody know who that is?
No.
Oh, that's Belle.
That's Belle. So if you don't know, you might want to write it down. Do y'all know who this is?
Lightning Queen.
Lightning McQueen.
No.
That?
I don't know.
Jasmine. I think she spells her name like this. What about him?
Woody.
Woody.
There's no snipe on that.
Who's this?
Fun Rider.
Or Eugene.
You're right. And then
Ice Power Girl.
Elsa from Frozen. You don't need to write those down unless you don't know who they are. Just FYI. Okay, so last time y'all told me you liked counting better. But what happens when this is what your number line looks like? Well, I'm talking, please. Can you sit here and count for this one? It's not as easy, right? So sometimes you're going to have to subtract. So what is the distance between Woody and Elsa? Woody and Elsa are at 2 and 37. What can I do here? 37 minus 2 is, so their distance is 35. Just subtract them. What about Jasmine and Flynn Rider? Jasmine's at -6, Flynn Rider's at 8. What am I going to do here?
8 minus -6, which is equal to
So you could do it either way. You could do the -6 first or the 8 first. It does not matter. Which one do y'all want to do first?
8.
8 minus -6.
Positive.
And a negative, be careful. What's a negative and a negative?
Positive 4.
It's a positive. What is 8 plus 6? And remember, you can never get a negative answer. I want you to do Belle to Jasmine. Go.
Which can you put there?
No questions on Lightning McQueen today. Let's see.
It's 20.
Who are we going? Oh, to Jasmine. So, did y'all do -6 first or -22?
Negative 22 minus
-22 minus -6. You always need the minus in between the two numbers. So, negative, a negative and a negative is a, and I'm going to put that in the calculator. And by the way, in the calculator, you can put it either way. You can put -22 minus -6, or you could put -22 plus 6. You're going to get the same answer. Is my answer -16?
No.
Why not?
16.
Why is it +16?
Because we always need a positive number.
Because you always need a positive number. What questions can I answer about this?
Why not put that on there?
I don't know.
That's not a question.
It is a question.
I don't know. I have no answer for it.
That's not an educated question.
All right. Hey, y'all. Shh. All right. Can you please turn your paper over? Samuel, you with me over there? Valeria, you with me? Next. What is an ordered pair? An X and Y. Do y'all agree on a graph, a point, an ordered pair is a way to tell where the point is? You can answer. Yeah, you can open it, please. So if I were to say this was at 2, 2. Good morning. If I were to say this was at 2, 2, or on the back of that paper, that's just letting me know that I have to go 2 to the right and 2 up. Do y'all agree?
Yes.
Okay, that is what an ordered pair is. It's a location for your point. And what if instead of doing a number line like we just did, what if I gave you some distances on a graph, some points on a graph? And this is not on your paper, so you're just looking up, please. Could you tell me the distance from C to D? How could you tell me the distance from C to D? You could still count it, right? So again, this is not on your paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you agree the distance from C to D is 10? If you have a line that's straight across, you can just count it. What about a line up and down? What would be the distance from point A to point B right here? What can I do? Again, I see some of y'all already doing it. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the distance from A to B is 9. Whenever you have lines that are horizontal or vertical, you can just count them on a graph. So I would now like you to go to your paper right here, and let's together plot these points, and then you will count them. A is at -3, 7. Remember, it's x comma y. This is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. You're doing this with me, please. -3 goes left 3. +7 goes up to 7. That is where A goes. B is 7, 7. Again, it's x comma y. So on the x-axis, I'm going to go to 7. On the y-axis, I'm going to go up to 7. Can you find the distance from A to B?
Yes.
Go. Give me a thumbs up when you got it. I like these subtle thumbs up. I see them. Give me a thumbs up when you got the distance from A to B. What did we get?
10.
10. Did everybody get what Brian got? Did everybody get 10? Everybody got 10? Okay, cool. All right, now we already did A. A's the same for number 7. A's the same. Now we're going to plot D. So D is at -3, -3. So I'm going to go -3, down 3. This is point D. And I want to know the distance from A to D. Please plot that and then calculate the distance. Go. Give me a thumbs up when you have your answer. What do we get this time?
10.
Again?
Yep.
10 again. That was a coincidence. It won't always be the same. All right, last one on this graph is we are at C. We got to do point C. C is at 7, 1. So I'm going to go all the way on the X to 7, and I'm going to go up 1. And it wants to know C to B. What is the distance? Did y'all get 8?
It's 6.
I
Okay.
got 6.
I was just seeing if y'all are paying attention. It is 6. Yeah, it's a positive one. Positive one.
You also thought I was right though.
It is 6. Just count the numbers. Is that what we got? 6? Okay. Is this going to be a question on your test on Friday?
What?
Yes. So, and on Friday, actually, I'm not going to make you plot the points. The points will be there for you. You're just going to have to count.
No.
Okay? So, can you count can you find the distance on a graph now
Yes.
if it's horizontal or vertical?
Yes.
If it's straight like this or straight like this? Well, what happens
Oh no.
when it's like this?
Why do you have to do this stuff?
You should count.
I cannot count because where do I count to? Like, what do I count here?
Downwards.
What? No.
What do you mean downwards?
What is?
You want me to count like this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't.
So let's do that. This is not on your paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're getting lots of 10s today. 10. All right. And then what?
Same thing. Ground.
What?
Go this way.
So we're doing what?
1, 2, 3,
Just
4,
one
5.
line.
So this is kind of like rise over run, but we are not going to do rise over run
Gee.
to figure this out. Do you think I can just add them and say, 15, that's my distance? It's not that easy.
Oh, no.
What did we just make?
You just made something. Triangle.
A triangle. What kind of triangle?
A triangle.
We made a right triangle. Does anybody remember from middle school? Maybe y'all learned this in algebra, but I'm not quite sure. Does anybody remember from middle school, if you have a side and a side of a right triangle, how do you find this side?
90 degrees. So that's
That's
about.
the baseline calculations.
Have y'all ever heard of this?
What's that?
Power
A
of
squared
two.
to b squared equals c squared. Wait, what?
Does anybody remember that?
Oh, yes, I
And
remember.
It's the power of 2.
Do y'all remember what this is called?
I forgot the name for it, but I know what it is.
What are you saying, Kaylin? It is the Pythagorean theorem.
I do not like this.
Now,
Whatever that is.
we are not going to do the Pythagorean. Well, we are going to do the Pythagorean theorem,
No.
but look up, please. What we are going to do is called the distance formula. And the distance formula comes from the Pythagorean theorem. This is your a squared. This is your b squared. And it's going to equal c squared. However, instead of having y'all count like we just did right here, we are just going to take the points and plug them into a formula. Now, when you look at this formula, is it a little bit scary?
I cannot.
It's a little bit scary. I think it's a little bit scary. When you look at it, it's like, what the heck?
But you're.
But 2 things. I am going to give you this formula every day in here. It is actually on the formula chart. So you do not have to have it memorized. You are going to be given this formula. And number 2, haven't we seen plugging in X1 and Y1 and X2 and Y2 already this year? So that's all we're going to be doing is plugging in numbers and putting it into our calculator. For today and for your test, you are not even going to be using a calculator. I'm just going to see, can you plug it in right? Later on, we'll get our calculators out and we'll start actually solving it. So can everybody right now, please write down the distance formula with me. DJ, Samuel, can y'all put your heads up, please? Distance formula is D equals. And then you're going to have to do a long square root sign. Don't forget the square root sign. It is x2 minus x1 squared. Bless you. Plus y2 minus y1 squared. Again, you are not solving today. You are not solving on your test. All you're doing is, can you plug in the right numbers? So there are going to be 3 steps to doing this. Step 1 is label your points. What do I have here? X1 and Y1. What do I have here? X.
Y2 minus.
Wait, not yet. X2 and Y2.
So you're talking about number 8.
So the first step I want you to do is just always label X1, Y1, X2, Y2. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. The second step, I'm going to really quickly rewrite this. Is to plug in your different information. And remember, there's always going to be a minus in between them. Kind of just like we had the difference earlier. Remember we subtracted? That's why it's subtraction. And now I'm just going to plug in the different numbers. What is my X2? 9. What is my X1?
6.
What is my Y2?
19.
What is my Y1?
2.
Again, for your test, you're going to stop right there. But I just want to show you, you could then go through and type this in. D equals, and you would just literally type in everything to get your answer. 9 minus 6. Oh, whoa, don't do what I just did. 9 minus 6 squared plus negative 2 minus 2 squared. And then what's my answer?
5.
We're not going to do that for this test. You'll do that on next test. This test, all I want you to get comfortable with is plugging in. I want you to try number 10. Go. Can you plug in X1, Y1, X2, Y2? Go. Am I frozen? We're frozen. All right. So did you label X1, Y1, X2, Y2?
Yes.
Always label. That's showing work. Did you put a square root sign?
Yes.
Do you have a squared up top here?
Let me see.
A plus sign and a squared up top there. A lot of people get points off because they forget the plus sign or they forget these little squares. Okay, make sure it's because just a squared plus b squared. That's why. And then do you have minus signs in the middle right here?
Yeah.
Okay, what is my x2?
9.
Minus my x1
Negative 3.
squared plus, what's my y2?
2.
Minus my y1.
7.
If you left it like that, you would get full credit. But I have a negative and a negative. What could I do?
A positive.
You could make them a plus, but you do not have to. Again, we're not doing that on this test. But if you were to type this in, D equals the square root, you could do either one. 9 minus 3 squared plus 2 minus 7 squared. It'll give you the same answer. Watch what happens. If I change these negative and a negative to a plus, it's the same. So type it in. Again, you're not doing it on this test, but when you start typing in, you can do it however you want. All right, that is our lesson. Let me make sure I'm done. That's our lesson for today. We did that. We did that. We're going to do this in Schoology. So, all right, go to Schoology, do your work. Bye.